So tattooing is like a lot of times being a psychiatrist. When you people go through a lot of traumas, there is always a reason, at least 80% of the times, why someone is getting a tattoo done. Most of the times it's a happy reason, but there is 20-30% of times when there's a negative reason, like a breakup or something, like someone lost their loved ones, or an unfortunate event. I mean, I was tattooing someone. I think this is after COVID, right after COVID. Uh, so it was a picture of a mother holding her daughter. So he's like, yeah, I lost my wife during COVID. So he was getting his, so that 1.5 year baby who has not seen her mother since the last 6 months immediately saw the tattoo and said, Mama.
Hello, Lokesh. Welcome to the Gut Feel Show.
Thanks a lot for inviting me.
How are you doing?
I'm good, very good.
And so I want to begin with your journey. When did you start tattoo? What was your first tattoo, and when did it all begin?
I started in 2003, unprofessionally.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a DJ before that.
Oh, wow.
So I saw someone in one of the parties with this big tattoo, some guy from some expat.
Okay.
And I was fascinated. I wanted to, know about it. And I could always draw, so I wanted to do it also. So I wanted to, explore this. So someone was coming from the US. I asked them to get the machines, the inks, and the basics things because you didn't get anything 20 years back here in India. And that's how it started. And they did not used to be right now. Like everything has evolved so much. There is fake skin for people to practice on before they move on to the actual clients. But in my time, there was nothing absolutely. So my father was my, first test dummy.
Your first client.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a tattoo on him, small.
So he accepted this thing? Like, what was his reaction when you said that I want to tattoo?
Yeah, he's an ex-army guy, but he's very strong but he's very supportive in whatever I do.
Amazing.
So I was like, I want to do it on someone. He's like, do it on me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just like that. So I was more scared than he was. Like if I should not poke him too much, or I did not know anything, absolutely. I did not even know how to assemble the machine. There was no YouTube, no Google that time. So there was just Yahoo search. I mean, you could not find anything about how to do a tattoo, like how anything can be found on YouTube right now. 2003, you could not find anything. You have to just.
So that one tattoo, one expert that you met.
Yeah.
What was that tattoo, or what was
it? It was a big tribal tattoo.
So, what moment did you have that you jumped into this space?
I could always draw, and DJing was not so much like, it was not appealing to me that much.
Okay.
Because everyone in Delhi at that time was becoming a DJ. There was so many DJing academies opening up. So I was just looking for something else, and I was doing my MBA also at the same time. But I was never interested in that. I was doing MBA because everyone has to do it.
So have you been an artist as a kid? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. So you used to draw?
I used to draw a lot, yes. I won some competitions also, inter-Asia as well. So, but yeah, after 11th and 12th, art is not a viable career. So you have to go into...
Back then, 2003?
2003. So 2003 is when I was finishing my graduation and I was getting into my MBA first year. So that's when I started and saw this guy, got the machine, did a tattoo on my father, then did something on my own, just practicing. And then that's how it started. Like, it did not start for money. I actually used to call people, beg them to get a tattoo from me. So I was earning a little bit of money from DJing and other jobs. I was working at McDonald's.
And this was as a hobby?
As a hobby. In the beginning. And I used to just tell people, like, everything was so imported and expensive. And I used to, from my little bit of stipend and from DJing, I used to collect the money, get the equipment, tattoo people for free. So I was losing money, actually. I did not start this to make money. I just started purely out of passion. So I wanted to tattoo every time I am free. Like every weekend, I wanted to do 1 or 2 tattoos. That's how I started. And then, friends, they started to know that there's one guy who does tattooing, and then I started charging them a little bit just to cover the expenses.
Okay.
And then it snowballed from there.
Amazing. And something interesting that I'm curious now, because you mentioned it. How was your family's support? As you mentioned, your father was very supportive, but
Yeah.
generally this is not the case. Like
Yeah.
people, if someone wants to try something out of their normal math, science, or normal doctor engineering kind of a
Yeah.
thing, so it is sort of back in 2003 at least,
Yeah.
it was not easily accepted.
Yeah.
So how did it happen at your home?
See, I'm working since I was 17, not even 17. I was 16 years
Okay.
and something when I gave my final exam, of 12th standard. And the very next day, I was distributing pamphlets on the road. So I was always hustling from,
Okay.
and I'm 40 now. So it's been whatever, 23 years. Every single day I've worked. So my father was very supportive in the way, or my mother, everyone in the family, because I was always trying something or the other. I was not losing money. I was trying to make money because we were not from a very rich family, even not from a middle class family. My father had a pension, so and my mother used to give tuitions to children, very less money. So I knew that I have to do something on my own. And they were also like, the problem is when you have something, then you're afraid to lose that. But when you don't have anything, you have nothing to lose.
You don't know.
So you can explore all the options at that time that you want, and you can really find something that clicks with you. And this is a blessing in disguise. It happened with me that I had nothing, I had no money.
So you
I
did
used to
hit
get
and
100
run.
rupees pocket money, and I used to give it back also at the end of the month. Did not used to spend anything. So I started doing small jobs, sold coolers, CDs, whatever. Yeah, I've
So
done,
you've
yeah,
done sales and every
everything,
kind of a thing.
everything. And then DJing also, I did not learn professionally from anywhere. My uncle had a console. He used to rent it out to parties, and he had a console in the village restaurant complex next to Siri Fort. And the DJ was not there. And I had seen him play sometimes because I was always fascinated with subculture of arts, music, except for studying everything else. So I had seen this guy play sometimes. So I knew a little bit how to fade just by watching him. He did not teach me anything. And there was no YouTube again. But then whenever he used to be away or when I used to do the setup and all for him, I used to always fiddle around with the pitch and everything, fade a little. That's how I learned
Wow.
DJing. And then he went somewhere else and I started to DJ there full time. So for me, everything is a learning. I'll gain experience. If I mess up, so what?
Wow.
I mean, I cannot say that for a tattoo now,
No.
but that time when I was tattooing friends for free, it's a little bit not right. It's okay.
Tell me something, because you are a hustler, and to be a hustler and to do many things against the tide.
Yeah.
It seems like that you were the guy with the gut feel that I have to try things and listen to your gut. Like
I always do.
so I want to know that from you, because this is the show's name and it is important to
When I
know.
heard the name of the show, Gut Feel, I was like, this is made for me because
Whoa.
I still do everything with the gut feel. I mean, yeah, I mean, I had very successful businesses running here, and I moved to Europe just because of the pollution here, and I wanted to give a better life to my son, who was 6 that time, who's 8 now. So 2 years ago, just out of gut feel, I was like, I have worked in Europe since 2010. I'm working everywhere. I've worked in 17 countries actually, and I was like, we're earning money here, everything, but if you cannot give clean air, the first right to your child, then what's the point of all this money? So gut feel, I just moved and
Wow.
yeah.
So you do tune into a gut feel and then you understand it.
100%, because you have only one life. I mean, how safe can you play that you will just be safe all the life, but you will not enjoy the life at all, and you 80 years after 80 years you will see that you'll look back, you've wasted all your life just by playing safe and not doing anything out of the ordinary. And everyone dies like that. So I mean, I just believe
And I
that you have
hope
only.
I think that the life that you're mentioning about is a life without regrets.
Yeah, exactly. the I always tell this to anyone, when I'm speaking to my juniors and all. You should only regret the things that you have not done.
Yeah, yeah,
Not the things that you have done.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's all about gut feel for me,
Wow,
definitely.
amazing. Tell me about your first tattoo. What was your first tattoo and which you did on your father? What was that?
First one was a small tribal tattoo, and the
Okay.
second one was a demon because I used to play by the name of DJ Devil.
Okay.
So, I was 18 that
And
time.
the name is
And the name stuck from the
Devil's Tattoo.
Devil's Tattoo, yeah.
Okay.
So it was just, I was always into like this dark art, skulls and all.
Okay. Tell me about the history of tattoo? What, like, when did it all begin? It is all modern now,
Yeah.
but I know tattoos have been into human history for a
They
very
have
long
been,
time.
they have discovered mummies in the, Alps and the glaciers with, which have been intact in the ice
Yeah.
thousands of years ago. And the tattoos have been also, you can
Yeah,
see
yeah.
Ozzy, the Iceman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has been there since the beginning of, like all the tribes used to have when there was no civilization. All the tribes, how will they identify each other? So they used to have different kind of markings on themselves, not only in India, in Thailand, in Polynesia, in Samoa, all this region, Polynesian region. I think every place, like Australia, everywhere where the Aborigines used to be there before the Brits took over. So I think every place which has a rich culture and heritage needed to have their own identification
This
marks in
was
form of
form of a
tattoos.
language.
Yeah, it was like in Nagaland also we have like the
Yeah,
headhunter tribes who
yeah.
yeah, they have so you can look at the tattoos and identify this person is from this tribe. So it has been there not only in India but at a lot of places in the world since thousands of years, but it has been modernized since the since 1960s
Yeah.
after sailor
After the
journeys.
hippie culture.
Yeah, exactly. When people started traveling from one
Yeah,
place to another, and the sailors used to get this
and the media came
old school
into play
tattoos.
because that
Yeah,
is when people started seeing these things. Otherwise,
yeah. I mean, actual the time I think around it's after 2000s only. I started in 2003. It was very less. So I think last 20 years have it has come into the mainstream a lot. But before 2000s, it was only used to be associated with bikers or thugs or sailors or prostitutes. Just
and even with criminals also it
yeah,
was associated.
we
So
have biker gangs and all
yeah,
that.
why is that so? Why do criminals get tattoos? It is in the movies we have seen that.
Yeah, like when I work in Europe, I have tattooed a lot of Hells Angels guys. They have their own logo with the skull and the wings, and anyone you cannot get a tattoo of that. If they see you with that tattoo, if you're not a part of the gang, they'll literally break your arm. So, and I've covered a few of them also, people who wanted to get out of the gang. So I was working in top northern Germany, Flensburg. It's border of Denmark and Germany, and the guy came to me, I need to cover this. I heard that someone has been shot in the other gang. So the guy came to me next morning, I need to cover up this tattoo. There was a skull and a wing, so he said just cover up the skull with a rose or something. So I did that for him. So it's actually used to be super related to biker gangs, and they had their own logos and their own font styles and all, which you cannot use. They used to be associated with biker gangs because bikers used to be the tough ones that
Yeah.
time, and they used to be the real macho men. Nowadays, everyone has a tattoo. So
But let's get back to this time when these people, criminals, were
yeah,
getting it, the
yeah,
prostitutes get it. When you meet these people,
yeah,
the thing is that you spent few hours with
yeah.
these people. What did you learn? What is the when you talk to these people? Is there a difficult mindset they have? Is there a
Yes.
history that is coming in?
There is no history, but they used to be the outcasts from the society.
Okay.
So they used to be like the rebels of the real rebels. So they were the ones who used to always go forward and wear leather and chains and rings, all the accessories. The mainstream people who are working in the 9 to 5 jobs at that time did not used to experiment with
Yeah.
things like that. Nowadays it has changed, but that time it used to be only, it was a sign of rebellion, you can say. So that's why gangsters, thugs, hookers, sailors.
So was it to hide some emotion or present some emotion?
No, it's an expression of, it's an extension of your own self. So how you are, you will get a tattoo of
Okay.
similar subjects. So that's why you see flaming skulls and motorbikes on the bikers. You see pin-up girls on sailors and also hookers. So you see dollar marks on hustlers and thugs.
Yeah.
So they
But
used to associate with that kind of imagery, and you can wear it on your skin. It expresses, you can tell a lot about a person by looking at their tattoos.
yeah.
I mean, if you're not into something like dark art, you won't get a biomechanical sleeve with skulls and something into
Yeah.
it. If you're more spiritual, you'll get a Buddha or something similar.
Yeah, right. So you can sort of anticipate their mindset.
Yeah.
What are they thinking, maybe?
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of times, people have also started getting tattoos based on their state of mind. Like if they have a mental health issue, some breakup maybe, some major breakup or relationship issue in life. After that, also they are getting tattoos. So
Yeah.
is there a influx of that kind of mindset also when people are getting the tattoo done?
There is actually when I mean it's the when the candle is about to go off, it's the last flicker which is the brightest. So people this is the last try that people make when they're about to they're going through an emotional phase,
Yeah.
or maybe they want to rekindle the relationship. They give it a last try. Tattoo is something permanent. They want to show that they're really committed and they're emotionally not stable. So they want to really don't want to let it go. So this is something permanent. They try to do to persuade the other side, but sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. But yeah, it definitely.
So is it like when you say, because I can correlate the two things, and correct me if I'm wrong, unstable mind and a flickering candle is the same thing. So is it like to see the stability, people get a tattoo because that won't flicker, but you can't stop the mind to flicker.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it like that?
It is like that. They want something permanent to reassure them that everything
Because
is
the
going to
mind
be
is
okay.
flickering and it is not in your control.
It is
But
not
see, the spirituality talks about the control of the mind. But when in a normal daily day-to-day life, when people are very busy earning a living and getting difficult situations in their life, be it relationship or work, the mind gets into this zone of turbulence. Why? Because also we're not trained on to emotional intelligence. Our education system was always designed on IQ. Go get a degree, get a job. That is it. So what happens is when we fall in life, be it work, be it relationship, be it family, anything, we fall so deep that we are unable to get up.
Yeah.
And the mind gets into this disbalance, then it starts flickering.
Yeah.
So is it that out of that flicker, if you want something to stay, you get a tattoo of that?
Exactly. You want something to hold on to. You want it to be permanent. You don't want it to go the other way, in the other direction. So, this is kind of a last resort people do. Yeah. Usually I've seen people who are not.
And are you also seeing a pattern that people get a tattoo too quickly and they want to cover it up then and then get
Also,
something
this
else?
happens as well. Yeah. Also, this is another side of, everything is happy and rosy, and people get into a relationship or anything too fast without thinking too much, and they think they don't think of the future. They don't want to give it time. They're too excited.
Yeah, they get it in the
And in
impulse of the
yeah,
moment.
impulse of the exactly. Tattooing is not something which should not be an impulsive decision, but some people cannot control it, and then they want to make it permanent. And then after, I have cases like after getting the tattoo, 2 or 3 days after getting the tattoo, people want to cover it up.
Yeah.
Like the guy got a name of his girlfriend, and after very next day, like after one day, so the second day he came back, he just covered it up.
And this is again the problem of an unstable mind.
Yeah, exactly.
You picked a thought, you got a tattoo done, and the other day the mind is still flickering.
Yeah.
And you now another thought is sticking up, and then now you want
also
to
the
remove
girl
the previous
came
one.
with a full lower back tattoo of a boyfriend's name, big one on the lower back. And she came back from Thailand. I think she got it done in Thailand. And I was like, how old is this tattoo? She's like 3 days ago.
Oh, God.
So this happens a lot. She came back from the holiday, cover it up.
Oh. So is it like, are you seeing a lot of relationship tattoos getting done and getting uncovered too quickly? Because we are seeing a huge influx of relationship problems.
There is actually, yeah.
There is.
Yeah, if I think about it now, we are doing a lot of cover-ups.
For relationships.
Yeah.
That's
Cover up
very
of
sad.
names.
Yeah, because that is happening a lot. We are getting people get inspired by seeing this in movies.
Yeah.
Then they get it done too quickly.
Exactly.
You can get it done if you have this. You stayed for a long time, and now you know that this is the long term.
Long time should be more than 5 years, I think.
Yeah, it should be after that. Like 5 years, you've been in a relationship, and now you see the boat sailing for a few more decades. Then you can get this decision done, maybe. But I think because the relationships are happening in the teenage and the mind is all over the place, So you get a tattoo done.
It's the age of instant gratification. People want everything right now.
Yeah, and they want to show it around as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly for Instagram actually. If you see, everything people are doing nowadays is for Instagram. Even if they're going in a car, they're just or eating something.
It's to present, portray it to.
Yeah. So I think most of the things people are doing nowadays, this next generation seems to be doomed. But
the Gen Z.
Yeah, I don't know what do you call it. But
it's let me ask you this way: which is the age group that you are catering to most at this time? Which is the generation that is coming for tattoo?
20 to 35 is the maximum.
Okay, 20 to 35.
20 to 40, you can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the teenagers?
No, we don't tattoo under 18. So
okay.
From 18 to 20, there are few, but those are mostly girls with small cute symbols and all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is a restriction below 18?
I mean, there is no law in India regarding tattooing, but ethically, I think if you're not allowed to vote, if you're not allowed to make a permanent decision about anything, then you should not be able to get a tattoo also. So we don't do it.
That's a good point. That's a very good point, because if you are doing that, I think you are being very ethical.
Yeah, I mean, ethically, people...
because business-wise, teenage can be a very good business.
Yeah,
because that is the most flickering mind.
Students from a lot of private schools, TPS, modern school, in school dress, after school, they come do these tattoos, just get out. We don't do it. Some people then come back with their parents also, and we strictly say no.
The parents are also coming?
Yeah, the mothers are coming, just do this tattoo. And he was like, no, we will not do it.
Wow.
I mean, as young as 11 and 13-year-old children have come with their mothers, and the mother is saying, just do it. And literally, the guys at the studio had to call me in Europe, and there is someone with his, the mother is there, she's saying, do it. I was like, no, tell her that he does not know what he wants.
Yeah.
His body will grow.
Yeah.
Everything will change physically, mentally.
Yeah.
He will not stay with this Pokemon symbol when he's like,
Yeah.
Or maybe if he wants after 18, he can, but not right now, or whatever symbol he wanted. And the mothers are like, yeah, do it, does not matter. But I don't do it.
Parents are also doing it to getting rid of the kids, like the thing they have, because they don't have an issue. So get it done, basically.
Yeah, it's very, I think, irresponsible of the parents.
That is amazing. Like, Lokesh, when you mentioned it, because I thought it is open, because you're right, it is, there is no law. So if you're doing it, you are doing something amazing for the society. Let me say that, because what you are saying is completely true. In teenage, their mind changes every day, and which is very natural. They're not doing it. The hormones are changing every day. What you see today, their perception might change completely tomorrow.
Your brain is not fully developed till the time
so
you're 24.
How can you decide on a tattoo?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe get a sticker.
Yeah, exactly.
Or something. Wow, that is amazing. And what are the complications around a tattoo? Like, do you have, like you suggested that people should be sure about the tattoo they're getting done.
Yeah.
So they don't have to uncover it. Any age restriction, any if a person is on medication or something, are there any other restrictions?
I mean, if someone is pregnant, then we don't do it.
Okay.
Under 18, we don't tattoo them. If we feel that they're intoxicated or generally mentally not in their mind right now, then we don't do it.
So you ask your team to analyze this, like before, like, or they understand this?
I mean, we can understand if someone is talking like they're intoxicated, they're drunk, or someone is very emotional, going through a breakup, crying and want a tattoo. We just say we don't have the time right now. Maybe come back next week. So I've told them to not, because these things they have repercussions for the clients also, and then we also don't want to get into this thing that next day. These clients are mentally very unstable. So tattooing is just one thing that they want to do. They're going through so much. So we don't want another new thing on them that they come back next week, cover it up. So we try to discourage. If you're not in your right senses, then don't get it done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that is something which I think every person should be doing in their business or work, whatever they are doing, because this can be misuse of the opportunity. Basically, it's an opportunity because teenage has the money. They can ask their parents for the money right now. They can come in.
Refuse a lot of people. You won't even believe. Like, I think it should be in bars also. When they see that someone is too drunk, they should not serve them.
Yeah.
But just to make money, they do.
This is the problem. The problem is that money comes first. If the money comes first, then people will always be harmed.
But in the long run, then you will not succeed, I think, if you're not ethical.
That is true. In the long run, at some point, either your team will break, you will break, something
If
or
you're
the
just
other.
doing it for money,
Yeah.
then everyone in the team has the mindset of making money, that's all.
Yeah.
Then you don't have any ethics, you don't have any camaraderie amongst the team. My team has 24 people, and most of the people who have been with me, 90% are still with me since day one. Two or three I've fired, one or two have left due to some reasons, but 90% of the people stay with me. So the turnaround rate is very less.
You are a good leader, that means, because being a team only stays with a good leader.
I try not to be a leader, actually. I try to play with them. If
That is-
someone
that
tells
is-
me, my manager was telling her friend the other day, 2 days back, he's my boss. I'm like, come on.
That is the thing.
Rebecca.
So boss is a
Not a
manager.
boss.
Boss is a manager. A leader always works within the team.
Yeah.
They never sit on the top. A leader leads from the behind. They push everyone forward first, and then they step in.
I mean, generally also, I will only succeed if they are growing, all of them. I cannot just.
So, do you think, Lokesh, because whatever you are saying about is a very emotionally intelligent, in a very emotionally intelligent context. So, do you did you get it from some?
I don't think I'm that intelligent.
No, it is emotional intelligence. What I mean by emotional intelligence, that you are aware, your awareness is high. You can only say no to these things when you are aware. So this is about awareness, that your awareness about what this person is coming in for might not be right. So let me say a no. This only a person can say who has this amount of awareness.
And trust me, saying no to these guys is more difficult than convincing a client to get a tattoo done.
Yeah.
Because these guys don't listen to anyone.
They're desperate.
Yeah.
They're desperate.
When they're drunk, they're very annoying. When they're emotional, they don't want to listen to anyone. They know what they want. I want this right now. I mean, they know at that time what they want, but they don't know it for the longer run. The kids, they don't want to listen to anyone. The mothers, especially, they don't want to listen to. The mothers, like, I'll write a bad review about your studio because you denied me. Like, yeah, I mean, you can do it if you want, but she's not there mentally. She cannot understand why are we saying no to the child. 13-year-old child with like frail, thin arms.
Lokesh, also tell me, what are the precautions that a person should take after getting a tattoo done? Like, is there any post care?
Yeah, there is post care, which is very basic. You have to treat a tattoo how you treat a wound, like a scratch. You have to put the medication which the artist will suggest you. It's normally a cream which has no artificial color and no artificial perfume in it. Very basic organic wax sort of a thing. You have to apply it 2-3 times a day whenever you feel the tattoo is dry, and wash the tattoo twice a day, morning and evening, with soap and water, so that the plasma does not ooze out too much and gets accumulated on top of it. So just keep it clean, wash it twice a day, put the cream 2-3 times a day. That's all you have to do for a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, there is fear of cancer with tattooing. That is what people Google about. That is what people search about. What is the reality about that?
I mean, back in the day, in the 70s and the 80s, where the people used to mix their own inks, the pigments used to have a lot of metals and chemicals in it. But nowadays, the inks that we use, and I think most of the places in US and Europe also, everything is very regulated, approved by FDA.
Okay.
And it's monitored by, I mean, you cannot just use anything. So the inks that we use are vegan, they are all organic, and they don't have zero chemicals, any metals in it.
Okay.
They're tested through their lab test reports available. So everything is very safe now. It used to be like 30 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, when
Now
everything was very unregulated.
Yeah.
Now everything is very safe and hygienic.
And what is the reality around blood donation after getting a tattoo done? Because there's a lot of confusion around this.
So I regularly donate blood after getting the tattoos.
Okay,
you cannot
great.
get it after. You cannot donate blood 6 months after getting the tattoo done. In some blood banks, it's 1 year. So it depends on which blood bank are you going to. If it's Rotary blood bank, I think it's 6 months over there. But if you go to a hospital, they see the window period is there. So the 6 months or 1 year is there because it's the time period where they check your blood for some abnormalities. If you get a tattoo and if something has to happen, it will happen between 6 months or 1 year.
What can happen if?
I mean, if there's metal or traces of any other substance which should not be high in your blood, if that is there in the ink, you will the window period is there where you have to refrain from donating blood. But if it's after 1 year, and also they check your blood before taking it. I mean,
So
they
they
do
do
the
it?
test. Yeah.
Or they ask for a proof of the time of your tattoo?
They don't ask for the proof, but in the form it's written always
So
that.
they'll just test it and
Yeah, I mean, before giving it to someone else, they always test the
yeah.
blood. So I always regularly do it, and there's nothing wrong with it.
Okay, understood. And Lokesh, which was the most challenging tattoo so far in your life? Like challenging, when I say challenging, is emotionally. A person who wanted a tattoo which had a deep story.
I do a lot of, so tattooing is like a lot of times being a psychiatrist. When you people go through a lot of traumas, there is always a reason, at least 80% of the times, why someone is getting a tattoo done. Most of the times it's a happy reason, but there is 20-30% of times when there's a negative reason, like a breakup or something, like someone lost their loved ones, or an unfortunate event. I mean, I was tattooing someone, I think this is after COVID, right after COVID. Uh, so it was a picture of a mother holding her daughter. So I was like, oh, it's your wife. Then the daughter in that picture was about 1 year old, something like that. So he's like, yeah, I lost my wife during COVID. So he was getting his wife's picture holding the baby. And when he went back home, and the baby was around 1.5 years that time. So that 1.5 year baby, who has not seen her mother since the last 6 months, immediately saw the tattoo and said, Mama. So that was when the client told me that, I literally teared up. I mean,
Oh my God.
it was like the most emotional tattoo for me. And the baby, 1.5 year old baby started, touching the tattoo, giving it kisses.
Oh.
And the client told me about it, and I was like, emotionally, this was one of the most emotional tattoos for me. Also, when he was telling me about how his wife died, and they were a young couple. So, yeah, you go through a lot of these kind of things.
So when you say tattooing is like being a psychiatrist, so a lot of people must be telling you these stories, right?
Yeah. So it's like being an untrained psychiatrist, where you get a lot of emotional stories from people, and someone like me who gets impacted by it a lot. It's difficult sometimes, but then you have to actually, divert your mind somewhere in.
Do you think as an artist, Lokesh, because artists are emotional people,
Yeah,
they work from emotions. So do you think these stories that come in, they feed into your art? Does that enhance your art?
definitely. I think it does. It makes you a better person.
Because
And if you're a better
subconsciously,
person,
an artist works from the subconscious mind.
yeah,
So and a subconscious mind is driven by stories.
yeah.
So I think
I think it really makes a lot of impact. Not a small impact. It's a substantial impact. It makes helps you navigate through things and gives you a different perspective of life. So I think as a person, it improves you. Whether the stories are negative or positive, in the end, you learn something from it, and you grow as a person also.
So have these stories over time, like I'm sure you must have tattooed hundreds of people. So have these stories, emotional stories or interactions, have they given you some sort of awareness and awakening in your life, or some kind of better understanding of life?
I think so, yeah. But I am always a person who, wears his heart on his sleeve, and I always do what I want. So I did not needed it. I always know what I want to do in life. As I told you in the beginning, we only have one life. So I don't want to regret not doing something and not trying. So I always do things like that. And these kind of stories make me even more, like confident about my decisions, that yeah, whatever I'm doing, even if it turns out to be in a loss, or not how I expected it to be, at least I gave it a try, and again, don't regret the things that you've done.
That is the best way.
Yeah.
Also, Lokesh, is uncovering almost always a sad story? Getting a tattoo uncovered, is it like someone covered up, sorry.
Yeah, mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah, people get tattoo covered up because
getting a
they're
tattoo
not
covered
together
up
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about cover-ups. Also, they are very emotional. Most of the people are like going through again the times when they got the tattoo done, telling me about it. Or sometimes I was the one who did it a few years ago. And it's like, oh, I don't want to ask them, but they know that I know about it. So they tell me this happened, that happened, and they're not together anymore.
So you're also a listener to them.
You have to be a big listener, yeah, when you're a tattoo artist. You have to. I mean, people open up when they're getting 4 or 5 hour session done. Then no one just stays like, quiet.
Yeah.
And yeah, they feel comfortable in the studio. Then they talk about it, tell their stories, like this guy who got lost his wife.
Yeah.
And we also asked, like, what's the significance for this tattoo? Like, how can we enhance it?
Because that is when you can
Generally,
get
we
the
don't
art.
get into
art.
their personal life, but why are you getting this done? Basically, is it so we can add some symbols or some meaning to it by
Even the
like,
colors.
colors,
For you,
everything.
the colors. If
colors,
the
font
emotion around,
choice.
yeah, so red or yellow, maybe if you need to know the
Yeah.
emotions behind,
Exactly.
so that you can bring in those colors.
So yeah, when we ask them and they tell the stories, and they open up a lot of times, and we hear, as I told you, being a tattoo artist is like being an untrained psychiatrist.
Yeah. I'm sure, because the setups that you have and the time that you spend with them are always they're emotionally unwinding.
Yeah.
And you are a listener to them in that moment.
Yeah.
And Lokesh, which is the most bizarre tattoo that you have done so far?
The most bizarre one might be, yeah, I tattooed a lot of flags on someone's body,
Okay.
so on the whole head.
Oh.
I started with his head here, the forehead. There was an Indian flag, and all the flags of all the 199 flags. This guy, so everywhere on his face, you see, it's permanently tattooed flags. And then we did his whole head in a circle. That was bizarre for me. Like, why would anyone? But that guy used to chase Guinness records. His name was only Guinness Rishi. He's not there anymore. He was 70, 80, I think, when he died. And I did it around 10 years or more, 10 years ago. I think 2007, I think. So 15 years ago. That was most bizarre. Like, he was like, I will reserve this space and I'll sell it to Coca-Cola or Pepsi, and I will make this much of. He had weird ideas.
Okay, he was using this as real estate.
Yeah, real estate. If someone wants it, any company wants to do their logo on me here, I'll take $1 million and I'll give the space to them. He did not do that, but yeah, we did a lot of flags on his whole body. Then he got the Guinness record for that.
Okay, and
it was bizarre.
Out of these eminent personalities who have tattoos, which one is your favorite person who has got the most balanced or most stable tattoos? Which one is your favorite personally on the people or personalities you might have done a tattoo on?
I like Umesh Yadav a lot.
Okay.
He's very humble.
Okay.
Ishan Sharma is also very humble. Umesh Yadav is very balanced, very humble. He speaks very little. Everyone is good. We tattooed Remo and Swara Bhaskar, Richa Chadda also.
Okay.
I mean, we've tattooed a lot of celebrities. Most of them are good. They don't have any tantrums. they act
But
like.
Umesh Yadav, you remember?
Umesh Yadav, I like him personally as a person. Like, he's very humble and very nice, soft-spoken. Does not even speak so much. Pani piloge de do to pee lenge.
Okay. Humble guy. Okay. It was great talking to you, Lokesh, and amazing insights from the tattoo industry.
Thanks a lot.
And I am glad you are doing it very ethically, and you identify these instabilities of a person who is coming in for a tattoo.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming to the
My pleasure.
थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग टिल द एंड. प्लीज़ कमेंट करके हमें बताइए कि आपको ये पॉडकास्ट कैसा लगा और आप किस टॉपिक पे बातें करना चाहेंगे या सुनना चाहेंगे हमसे. हम उन लोगों को अपने शो पर लेकर आएंगे एंड मेंटल हेल्थ के बारे में इन डेप्थ डिस्कशन करेंगे. Please like, subscribe and share with at least one person, because your share can help that person improve their mental health. Thank you so much.